A 84-year-old woman vanishes from her own home in the middle of the night. No body. No suspect. No arrest. But here's what makes this case different from every other cold case you've heard of: the police aren't just failing to solve it. They're fighting each other. Fox News broke the story that shocked the entire law enforcement community. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos and the FBI are openly at war. And according to sources, the local police may have hidden critical evidence from the federal lab. Evidence that could identify Nancy Guthrie's killer. So here's the question nobody is officially answering: did the people sworn to find Nancy Guthrie accidentally let her killer walk free? Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you goes deeper than any news channel has reported. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this case is unlike anything law enforcement has seen in decades. Let's go back to the beginning. Nancy Guthrie, mother, grandmother, beloved woman, disappears from her Tucson home sometime in the early hours of the morning. Her family is desperate. They call the police. They trust the system. That trust doesn't last long. 104 days pass. No arrest. No suspect. Not even a name. And then Sheriff Chris Nanos does something almost unbelievable. He goes to People magazine and publicly admits that he has stopped communicating with Nancy's family entirely. He says, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the FBI is now handling all family communication. Journalist Brian Anton and security expert Morgan Wright both called this out immediately. In an active missing persons and homicide investigation, this kind of breakdown between local law enforcement and the victim's family is, in their words, extremely rare. Almost unheard of. Think about what that means. The family of a missing woman has been so let down by local police that the FBI had to step in just to keep them informed. And meanwhile, Pima County is sitting on a $1 million bill, your taxpayer money, with nothing to show for it. No answers. No closure. No justice. And it gets worse. Here's where the investigation gets both hopeful and terrifying at the same time. Investigators recovered an unknown DNA sample from the scene. This is huge. This could be the killer's DNA. It has been sent to the FBI's world-renowned Quantico lab in Virginia, not the local Florida private lab that local police originally used. And using a cutting-edge technique called genetic genealogy, the same method that finally caught the Golden State Killer, investigators are hoping for a breakthrough by June or July. But here's where Sheriff Nanos said something that sent chills through everyone following this case. He publicly admitted, for the first time, that if this DNA analysis fails, the case will go cold. A mother. A grandmother. Gone. And the only lifeline is a DNA sample sitting in a federal lab. But there's another piece of evidence that many people have overlooked. Nancy Guthrie had a pacemaker. And that pacemaker, like all modern pacemakers, records data. Timestamps. Heartbeats. Activity logs. According to investigators, Nancy's pacemaker stopped transmitting at exactly 2:28 a.m. That means the killer's window was between 2:12 a.m. and 2:28 a.m. 16 minutes. 16 minutes to abduct a woman from her home, vanish into the night, and leave almost no trace behind. 16 minutes. And so far, nothing. But that window is also the key to everything. Because of what was caught on camera during those exact 16 minutes. Police have spent thousands of hours reviewing doorbell camera footage from Nancy's neighborhood. Thousands of hours. And they've found someone, a figure, possibly wearing a mask, caught on camera near the time of the abduction. But security expert Morgan Wright came forward with an analysis that completely reframes what investigators should be looking for. He says, everyone is focused on the face. But the face is masked. You're never going to identify this person from their face alone. What you can trace is the vehicle. Wright's theory is that the figure on the doorbell camera wasn't trying to hide their face. They were positioning themselves to block the camera's view of their car. Because a face with a mask is untraceable. But a vehicle, a make, model, color, partial plate, a unique scratch or dent, that is traceable. And here is the key insight that changes everything about how this investigation should proceed. police don't need to review thousands of hours of footage. They need to focus on one specific time window, 2:12 a.m. to 2:28 a.m., and trace every single vehicle that moved toward the highway or toward the border during those 16 minutes. Every car on every highway camera. Every toll record. Every gas station transaction. The killer had to go somewhere. And somewhere has cameras. The question is, has anyone actually done this analysis? Or have they been staring at a masked face this whole time? Now let's talk about who did this. Because the profile that is emerging from this case is deeply disturbing. First, this was not a burglary gone wrong. Nothing valuable was stolen. There was no ransacking, no chaotic mess that you see in opportunistic home invasions. This was planned. Targeted. Deliberate. Morgan Wright has given this case a name that is haunting in its accuracy: a nobody homicide. That means this is a case where there is no body, no motive, no obvious connection between victim and killer. A blood trail at the scene. Missing medications that Nancy would have needed to survive, suggesting she may have still been alive when taken. And then the strangest detail of all, ransom messages sent to the media. Not to the family. To the media. Criminologists will tell you that ransom messages sent to the media rather than directly to family suggest a perpetrator who craves public attention. Someone who wants the world to know they did this. And yet, someone smart enough to stay completely silent for over 100 days. Here is the most chilling piece of evidence supporting the lone wolf theory: a $1.2 million reward has been offered for information leading to an arrest. $1.2 million. And in over 100 days, not a single credible tip. Not one person has come forward to say they know who did this. When you offer over $1 million and nobody talks, that tells you one of two things. Either the killer has absolutely no connection to anyone in Tucson who would recognize their behavior. Or this person is operating so far outside any known social circle that there is genuinely nobody to tip off police. Both conclusions point to the same thing: this was a lone operator. Likely from outside Tucson. And disturbingly, possibly someone who has done this before. So where does this case stand right now? The FBI has officially taken full control. Sheriff Nanos and local law enforcement have been sidelined. The family, Nancy's daughter Savannah Guthrie, the well-known NBC News anchor, is now communicating only through federal investigators. On Mother's Day, Savannah Guthrie posted a message that broke the hearts of everyone who read it. She wrote that the family misses Nancy with every single breath. Every breath. There is a mother out there who has not been found. A family that is living in unimaginable pain. And an investigation that is hanging entirely on a DNA sample in a federal lab in the hope that someone, somewhere, will finally come forward. The last thread is this: if you are watching this video and you live in or around Tucson, or if you know someone who was acting strangely in the early hours of that morning, there is a $1.2 million reward waiting. And more importantly, a family waiting. The tip line is anonymous. No name required. No risk. Just a phone call or a message that could bring Nancy home. Call TO Action on screen graphic, anonymous tip line, 1-800-CALL, FBI 1-800-225-5324, reward, $1.2 million USD active. If you made it this far, thank you for caring about this case. Share this video. Because sometimes the person who solves a case like this isn't a detective. It's someone who watched a video exactly like this one. Subscribe. And I'll keep covering this case until there are answers. End call.